You wake up one morning and something feels off. Your legs are heavy. The chair that used to be easy to rise from suddenly feels like climbing a mountain. You need both hands just to push yourself up. Now let me ask you, have you ever thought, well, that's just old age? I'm here to tell you, it's not just age. It's something more dangerous, and it's happening silently inside your body. It's called muscle loss, or sarcopenia. And if left unchecked, it will steal your strength, your independence, and eventually your freedom to live the life you want. Studies published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle show that in as little as 5 days of inactivity, you can lose over 10% of your muscle. 10% gone in less than a week. That's like cutting 1/10 of your power just because you stop moving. But here's the good news. Muscle is not gone forever. At any age, even after 60, even after 70, your muscles can rebuild. I've seen patients in their 80s stand taller and walk stronger because they refuse to give up. So today I'm going to share the truth about muscle loss, what's happening inside your body, what mistakes most seniors make, and how you can fight back starting now. Tell me in the comments, have you ever noticed your legs feeling weaker than before? If yes, type the number 1. If not, type the number 0. I want to hear from you. Number 1, the hidden speed of muscle loss. Most people think muscle loss happens slowly over many years. The truth is, it can begin shockingly fast. I've seen patients lose noticeable strength in just a few days of staying in bed. A study published in the Journal of Cachexia, Sarcopenia, and Muscle revealed that 3 days of bed rest can cause more than a 10% reduction in muscle tissue. Imagine this, 3 days of watching TV on the couch or recovering from the flu, and suddenly 1/10 of your strength is gone. That's the difference between standing up with ease and needing both hands to push yourself out of a chair. Another expert, J.J. Virgin, told the Epoch Times that even athletes, men and women in their prime, start losing muscle after only 3 weeks without training. If that's what happens to healthy young bodies, you can imagine what happens to older adults who stop moving for even a short while. Dr. Everson Nunez from McMaster University explained that in healthy young people, immobilizing one leg for just a week can lead to almost 1% muscle loss every single day. For seniors, the pace is often faster because aging muscles are already more vulnerable. Why does this happen? Because our muscles, tendons, and bones need constant movement to stay alive and strong. Without mechanical stress, the push and pull of walking, standing, lifting, the body thinks those muscles are no longer needed. And what the body doesn't use, it starts to dismantle. The tragedy is that many seniors mistake this for just old age. They feel weaker, slower, less steady on their feet, and they accept it as normal. But what I want you to remember is this. Weakness is not always age, it's often disused. And disuse is something we can fight. So before you think your cane, your walker, or your wheelchair is destiny, I want you to pause. Muscle can come back. Even in your 60s, 70s, or 80s, your body has the remarkable ability to rebuild. But you need to know the danger, and you need to take action. Let me ask you, have you or someone you love ever felt a sudden drop in strength after being sick or resting for too long? Share your story in the comments below. Your words might give another senior the courage to fight back today. Number 2, why aging accelerates atrophy. When we talk about muscle loss, nothing speeds it up more than aging. Starting around the age of 30, the body begins to lose muscle at a rate of about 3 to 8% per decade. After 60, that rate doubles. By the time you reach your 70s and 80s, the decline can feel overwhelming. But let me be clear, this is not just nature taking its course. Much of what we call normal aging is preventable decline. I've treated men and women in their 70s who walk 2 miles every morning, carry groceries with ease, and play with their grandchildren on the floor. I've also seen patients of the same age who avoided exercise become dependent on walkers or wheelchairs within a few years. Why the difference? It comes down to sarcopenia, the medical word for age-related muscle loss. As we grow older, our bodies face several changes at once. Hormone levels like testosterone and growth hormone drop. The body becomes less efficient at turning protein from food into new muscle fibers. Scientists call this anabolic resistance. It means that eating the same chicken breast at 70 doesn't build as much muscle as it did when you were 30. Here's where many seniors make their biggest mistake. They accept weakness as inevitable. They stop challenging their bodies, which only accelerates the decline. Muscles are like bank accounts. If you don't keep making deposits with movement and protein, the account runs dry. The consequences are not small. Losing muscle doesn't just mean losing strength. It means a higher risk of falls, slower recovery from illness, weaker immunity, and even trouble breathing because the muscles that power your lungs weaken too. But here's the lesson. Age is not the enemy. Inactivity is, and the body still has muscle plasticity, the remarkable ability to adapt and rebuild even in the later decades of life. Harvard researchers have shown that seniors who engage in resistance training can gain significant strength within just 12 weeks. That's 3 months to feel steadier, stronger, and more confident. So don't let the number on your driver's license dictate your future. You may be 60, 70, or even 80, but your muscles are still listening to what you do today. The question is, will you give them the signal to grow or let them quietly fade away? Number 3, inflammation, the double-edged sword. When it comes to muscle loss, inflammation is one of the most misunderstood forces. On the one hand, it is essential. When you sprain your ankle or cut your finger, inflammation rushes in to protect, clean up, and trigger healing. Without it, your body would never repair. But when inflammation stays too long or runs too high, it turns from a healer into a destroyer. Chronic low-grade inflammation is common in older adults, especially those living with obesity, diabetes, or heart disease, and it silently eats away at muscle tissue. Dr. Everson Nunes, a researcher at McMaster University, explained that chronic illness and high body fat creates something called anabolic resistance. That means the muscles stop responding properly to the signals that normally trigger growth. Even when you eat protein or try to exercise, the body does not build muscle as effectively. This is why some seniors complain, "Doctor, I'm eating well and moving, but I still feel weaker." The hidden enemy is not always diet or effort. It's the silent fire of inflammation inside the body. Another problem is that inflammation after major surgery, trauma, or infection can skyrocket. Your body releases high levels of inflammatory chemicals to protect you, but they also accelerate muscle breakdown. It's like trying to rebuild a house while a storm is still raging. Progress is slow and fragile. Now here's where many people make a mistake. They assume that simply taking anti-inflammatory pills will fix the problem. The truth is, long-term use of strong anti-inflammatory drugs can blunt both the harmful and the helpful effects. You may reduce pain in the short term, but block your body's ability to repair itself in the long term. The smarter strategy is balance. Gentle daily exercise lowers inflammation naturally. A diet rich in vegetables, omega-3 fats from salmon or walnuts, and fewer processed sugars keeps the internal fire under control. Even good sleep and stress management reduce the silent inflammation that eats away at muscle. The lesson is simple. Inflammation can be your ally or your enemy. At 60, 70, or 80, you cannot afford to let it burn unchecked. Protect your muscles by moving, eating wisely, and respecting your body's need for rest. Let me ask you, have you noticed your muscles shrinking after a surgery or an illness? Share your experience in the comments. Your story may help another senior realize they are not alone. Number 4, movement as medicine. If there is one prescription I could write for every senior, it would not be a pill. It would be movement. Movement is the medicine your body craves. Without it, your muscles shrink. With it, your muscles grow back at any age. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Doctor, I can barely walk across the room. Exercise isn't possible for me. I want you to hear this clearly. You do not need a gym membership or heavy weights to start healing. You need only to move in ways that fit your body today. The science is undeniable. Isometric exercises, where you hold a position without moving, like a gentle plank against the wall, or simply squeezing your thighs while seated, activate muscle fibers. Even tiny contractions send the message to your body, keep this muscle, we still need it. As you grow stronger, resistance exercises become the foundation. Squats from a chair, pushing up from a counter, or lifting light bands mimic the movements of everyday life. That is important because muscles trained for real-life movements protect you from falls, help you carry groceries, and allow you to rise from bed without fear. For those who cannot tolerate much resistance, blood flow restriction training is a modern breakthrough. With a simple band wrapped around the arm or leg, light exercise feels like heavy lifting to the muscle. Studies show it can slow down or even reverse disuse atrophy, especially after surgery. But here's the secret. Consistency matters more than intensity. A short walk after lunch, 5 sit-to-stands from your chair, or even standing during commercials builds strength over time. Every step is a deposit into your muscle bank. Now let's make this personal. Imagine your future self 1 year from now. Would you like to walk confidently without reaching for a cane? Would you like to pick up your grandchild without fear of falling? That future begins with today's small movements. I'd love to hear from you. What is one small movement you can start today? Maybe it's standing up from your chair 5 times in a row. Maybe it's walking to the mailbox instead of driving. Share it in the comments. Your commitment might inspire someone else watching this right now. Remember, you are not alone in this. Thousands of older Americans are reclaiming their strength through simple, steady movement. As your doctor and your companion on this journey, I promise you, every step you take is medicine for your body, your mind, and your independence. Number 5, nutrition beyond protein. When most people hear the word muscle, the first advice they think of is eat more protein. And yes, protein is vital, but after 50 years of treating patients, I can tell you this. Nutrition for muscle health is far more than chicken, eggs, or protein shakes. Here's why. As we age, our bodies develop what scientists call anabolic resistance. That means eating the same portion of protein at 70 does not build the same amount of muscle it did at 30. For older adults, simply piling more meat on the plate is not enough. The body needs targeted support. Essential amino acids, the building blocks of protein, are especially powerful. Studies show that adding around 15 grams of essential amino acids with meals can directly stimulate muscle repair. Collagen, found in bone broth or supplements, supports not only muscles but also joints and tendons, reducing the stiffness that often makes exercise difficult. Another overlooked nutrient is creatine. Many think it is only for athletes, but research shows creatine helps older adults recover strength faster, increases energy during exercise, and even supports brain health. A small daily dose can be life-changing for seniors trying to rebuild their strength. Now here's the common mistake I see. Seniors eat more protein but ignore the other half of the equation: movement. Muscles cannot grow from food alone. Without the signal of exercise, the body simply does not know. It needs to keep that extra protein. It's like buying bricks for a house but never hiring a builder. Equally important is what to avoid. Processed foods high in sugar and unhealthy fats fuel inflammation, which, as we discussed earlier, accelerates muscle breakdown. Think of every sugary soda or fast food meal as pulling a brick out of the foundation of your strength. The lesson is simple. Build your plate with purpose. Lean proteins like salmon or chicken, essential amino acids, collagen, creatine, and anti-inflammatory foods such as leafy greens, berries, and omega-3 fats. Pair them with daily movement, and you give your body both the raw materials and the signal it needs to stay strong. So let me ask you, what is one food you rely on to feel strong? Is it eggs in the morning, a bowl of hearty lentils, or a warm cup of bone broth? Share your go-to strength food in the comments below. Your choice might give another senior a new idea to nourish their body today. Number 6, the mental muscle, grit and resilience. Muscles are not built by the body alone. They are built by the mind. After 50 years of caring for patients, I can tell you that the difference between those who recover and those who give up often comes down to one thing: resilience. I have seen 2 patients with the same surgery, the same age, and the same physical condition. One lost hope, stopped trying, and ended up in a wheelchair. The other faced the pain, kept showing up for therapy, and within 6 months was walking again. What separated them was not medicine or diet, it was mental grit. Resilience is like an invisible muscle. When your legs are weak, when getting out of bed feels like a battle, resilience is the strength that whispers, try again. And every time you listen to that voice, your body follows. How do you build this mental muscle? First, by focusing on what you can control. Maybe you cannot walk a mile today, but you can stand from a chair 3 times. Celebrate that. Small victories train your brain to expect progress. Second, visualize your goal. Picture yourself walking across the room without help, climbing the porch steps, or holding your grandchild. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It is training your brain to prepare your body for action. Third, surround yourself with encouragement. Isolation weakens both the body and the spirit. When you share your struggles and wins with friends, family, or even an online community, you gain the strength of others. Healing was never meant to be done alone. And finally, practice gratitude. I know it sounds simple, but writing down one thing each day you are thankful for lowers stress, reduces harmful inflammation, and keeps you mentally sharp. Stress hormones like cortisol can tear down muscle just as much as inactivity. Gratitude is medicine for the mind and the body. So here's my question to you. When was the last time you surprised yourself by doing something you thought you couldn't do? Maybe it was walking farther than expected or lifting a grocery bag without help. Share it in the comments. Your story of resilience may become the spark that keeps someone else moving forward. Remember, strength begins in the body, but it survives in the mind. Build both, and you will not only recover muscle, you will recover hope. Number 7, tracking progress and celebrating wins. One of the greatest mistakes I see in recovery is this. People underestimate their progress. They expect to see dramatic changes overnight, and when they don't, they feel defeated. But muscle recovery, especially after 60, is a marathon, not a sprint. Tracking your progress and celebrating every milestone is just as important as the exercises themselves. Let me give you an example. A patient of mine once said, "Doctor, I don't think I'm getting stronger." I asked him to show me how he stood up from his chair. 6 weeks earlier, he had needed both arms to push himself up. That day, he stood using only one hand. That's progress. He hadn't even noticed. The body changes slowly but consistently. That's why tools can be so valuable. A DEXA scan, for instance, gives an accurate picture of muscle mass and balance between your arms and legs. But even without advanced tests, there are simple ways to measure. Can you rise from a chair faster? Can you walk to the mailbox without resting? Can you carry your groceries with steadier hands? These are victories worth recording. Fitness trackers or even a simple notebook can become powerful motivators. Write down your daily steps, your repetitions, or how long you held a balance pose. Over time, those numbers tell a story of strength returning. And don't forget, every improvement, no matter how small, deserves celebration. Here's where many seniors go wrong. They ignore small wins, waiting only for big changes, but celebrating small wins keeps the brain motivated and engaged. Neuroscience shows that recognizing progress releases dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, which makes you more likely to keep going. So, clap for yourself when you do an extra rep. Smile when you take 5 more steps than yesterday. Tell your family when you carry the laundry without help. These celebrations are not prideful. They are fuel for the journey. Now, I want to hear from you. What is one victory you've had recently with your strength or mobility? Did you walk a little farther or stand up a little easier? Share it in the comments. Your story could encourage someone who feels like giving up tonight. Remember, recovery is not just about getting back to where you were. It's about building a new level of strength, step by step. Progress tracked is progress multiplied. Celebrate every step, because every step is proof that you are still moving forward. Number 8, common pitfalls in recovery. Over the decades, I've watched countless patients try to rebuild their strength. Some succeed beautifully. Others stumble, not because they lack effort, but because they fall into common traps. If you know these pitfalls, you can avoid them and save yourself months, even years of frustration. The first pitfall is overtraining. Many seniors, once motivated, push too hard, too fast. They think more is always better. But muscles over 60 need consistency, not punishment. Overtraining leads to joint pain, fatigue, and injuries that set you back even further. I tell my patients, start with less than you think you can do, then slowly build up. Progress is measured in weeks and months, not in a single workout. The second pitfall is neglecting rest. Sleep is not just rest for the mind. It is the repair shop for your muscles. Without 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, your body cannot rebuild what exercise breaks down. Too many seniors skimp on rest, believing they can get by. The truth is, poor sleep means poor recovery. The third pitfall is poor nutrition habits. I've seen seniors who exercise faithfully, but undo their progress with sugary snacks, processed foods, and too little protein. Muscle cannot be built on a foundation of junk. Food is the raw material for strength. Without quality fuel, your body simply does not have the bricks to rebuild. The fourth pitfall is giving up too soon. This one breaks my heart the most. Recovery is slow and it often feels like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, your muscles are adapting. Many seniors quit right before the breakthrough. Remember, patience is just as important as effort. And the last pitfall is the mindset of, I'm too old. I hear it every week in my office. Doctor, maybe this is just my age. No, age is not the enemy. Inactivity is. I've seen patients in their 80s regain the ability to walk unaided. I've seen 90-year-olds improve balance with simple exercises. Your body listens to what you tell it, through your actions, not your excuses. Now let me turn this over to you. Have you ever fallen into one of these traps? Pushing too hard, sleeping too little, eating poorly, or doubting yourself? Share your story in the comments. Talking about these struggles helps others realize they are not alone. The truth is, recovery is not about perfection. It is about avoiding the biggest mistakes and staying the course. If you sidestep these pitfalls, your path to strength becomes clearer, safer, and far more rewarding. Number 8, common pitfalls in recovery. Over the decades, I've watched countless patients try to rebuild their strength. Some succeed beautifully. Others stumble, not because they lack effort, but because they fall into common traps. If you know these pitfalls, you can avoid them and save yourself months, even years of frustration. The first pitfall is on overtraining. Many seniors, once motivated, push too hard, too fast. They think more is always better. But muscles over 60 need consistency, not punishment. Overtraining leads to joint pain, fatigue, and injuries that set you back even further. I tell my patients, start with less than you think you can do, then slowly build up. Progress is measured in weeks and months, not in a single workout. The second pitfall is neglecting rest. Sleep is not just rest for the mind. It is the repair shop for your muscles. Without 7 to 8 hours of good sleep, your body cannot rebuild what exercise breaks down. Too many seniors skimp on rest, believing they can get by. The truth is, poor sleep means poor recovery. The third pitfall is poor nutrition habits. I've seen seniors who exercise faithfully, but undo their progress with sugary snacks, processed foods, and too little protein. Muscle cannot be built on a foundation of junk. Food is the raw material for strength. Without quality fuel, your body simply does not have the bricks to rebuild. The fourth pitfall is giving up too soon. This one breaks my heart the most. Recovery is slow and it often feels like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, your muscles are adapting. Many seniors quit right before the breakthrough. Remember, patience is just as important as effort. And the last pitfall is the mindset of, I'm too old. I hear it every week in my office. Doctor, maybe this is just my age. No, age is not the enemy. Inactivity is. I've seen patients in their 80s regain the ability to walk unaided. I've seen 90-year-olds improve balance with simple exercises. Your body listens to what you tell it, through your actions, not your excuses. Now let me turn this over to you. Have you ever fallen into one of these traps? Pushing too hard, sleeping too little, eating poorly, or doubting yourself? Share your story in the comments. Talking about these struggles helps others realize they are not alone. The truth is, recovery is not about perfection. It is about avoiding the biggest mistakes and staying the course. If you sidestep these pitfalls, your path to strength becomes clearer, safer, and far more rewarding. Number 9, real patient lessons over 50 years. After half a century in medicine, I carry with me the stories of hundreds of patients who fought against muscle loss. Some stories are painful reminders of what happens when people wait too long. Others are shining examples of what is possible when courage and consistency take the lead. I remember Mrs. Thompson, a retired teacher in her late 70s. After a fall, she spent several weeks in bed. By the time she came to see me, she needed a walker just to make it from the waiting room to my office. Her words were heavy. "Doctor, I think this is it. I'll never walk normally again." But we started small, chair exercises, gentle stretches, short walks down her hallway. 6 months later, she came back without her walker. Her face was lit with joy. "I feel like I got my life back," she told me. That transformation was not just physical, it was the power of persistence. Then there was Mr. Rodriguez, a former construction worker in his early 80s. He believed he was too old to rebuild muscle. He told me, "Doctor, my body is finished." But I reminded him, the body is never finished unless we stop asking it to grow. We worked slowly. He began with resistance bands, then light weights. Within a year, he was strong enough to climb the front steps of his home without holding the railing, something he hadn't done in years. His story reminds me that strength is ageless, but I have also seen the other side. One patient, Mr. Allen, ignored my advice. He insisted he was just too old and chose inactivity. Within 2 years, he lost so much muscle that standing unassisted became impossible. His decline was not inevitable. It was the result of surrender. That memory fuels me to speak strongly today. Do not wait until it is too late. The lesson from 50 years of practice is clear. Age alone does not dictate your outcome. Action does. Patients who embrace small daily steps, who believed in progress, and who trusted the process regained their independence. Those who gave up lost it. So let me ask you, which story do you want to write for yourself? The one of decline or the one of renewal? Share in the comments what inspires you to keep moving forward. Your story could be the light for someone else walking this same road. Number 10, hope, healing, and action. After 50 years of caring for patients, I can tell you one truth that never changes. Muscle is not just tissue. It is the very foundation of independence, dignity, and life itself. Without it, everyday tasks become battles. With it, you regain confidence, strength, and the freedom to live on your terms. Too often, I meet seniors who believe the story is already written. They think, "Doctor, I'm too old to get strong again." I want to say this clearly. That is a myth. Research from Harvard and the National Institute on Aging proves that seniors in their 70s, 80s, and even 90s can rebuild muscle through consistent training and proper nutrition. I have watched it happen with my own eyes. The real secret is this. Progress comes not from giant leaps, but from steady steps. A few chair exercises, a walk around the block, a protein-rich meal that nourishes your body. Day by day, these choices stack up. And before you know it, the cane feels lighter, the stairs seem shorter, and life opens wide again. I know recovery is not easy. It takes patience, it takes courage. But every senior has within them the spark to begin again. I have seen patients who once felt hopeless rise stronger than they ever imagined, not because they had perfect health, but because they refused to surrender. So let this be your moment of decision. Do not let muscle loss steal another year, another month, another day. You are capable of more than you realize, and it starts with one action today. Now, I'd love to hear from you, but after watching this video, what is the first small step you feel inspired to take? Share it in the comments. Your story might be the encouragement another senior needs tonight. And if this video spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a spouse, or a family member who may be silently struggling with muscle loss. Together, we can spread hope, strength, and healing. Before you go, I want to invite you to watch our next video, Muscle, the Anti-Aging Secret Few Discuss. In it, I'll reveal why muscle is more than strength. It's the hidden key to slowing down aging, protecting your brain, and adding years of vibrant living to your life. Remember this, your body is listening to every choice you make. Choose movement. Choose nourishment. Choose hope. Muscle is not gone forever. With steady action, you can bring it back. And with it, the freedom you deserve.